we can't know the uniqueness and difference without testing. Throwing something in a symptom is crazy madness and is very expensive.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Connections That Matter, where we share stories of Northern Colorado's best networkers and find out their business tips and their networking tips that have led to their success. Today, I have a special guest. We have Gerri Kier for Complete Nutrition Alliance on the show. She's going to help us. How do we take care of our bodies, Gerri? Like in our digestion and our memory and all that good stuff.
Yes. It is, lifestyle. Huge critical. What you eat today, you are tomorrow. So if you want to be a Twinkie, great. Have one. If you want to be healthy, make better choices. So that's what I do. I teach people how to live in their bodies and the collateral damage that happens from less than desirable choices, let's say.
It's an interesting perspective, though, that what you eat literally becomes the building blocks of your cells. So I'm like thinking, how much percent pizza am I? How much percent vegetables am I?
Well, the main thing is what you eat, you become what they have eaten.
So now we're getting like Inception level, like what did my food eat?
Right. That affects your cells because you're essentially eating their cells. So with plants or animals, same, because plants have to eat also. So how nourishing is the dirt that they're grown in, or how have they been nourished through chemicals or not? And then are the animals eating grass-fed, free range, or are they eating chemical-laden food? Yeah.
Gerri, I think we're scaring everybody. They're watching this and they're like, I don't know what I can, before I go watch a Netflix documentary or whatever like that.
Don't do that.
Give us maybe some brief guidelines of, how can we make some simple steps to help with our own nutrition?
Sure, absolutely. Huge decisions in a day would be, how are you breaking your fast? It's called a breakfast because you're breaking a fast. So the best way to start your day is to drink clean water. You can put lemon in it and drink 16 to 24 ounces of water first thing in the morning, and then that will get the brain working and going. And also, this is just kind of a little sideline, FYI, that the colon cleanses, mends, and detoxes between 5 and 7 a.m., so that's a normal time to have a bowel movement. We talk a lot about bowel movements. Okay. It's all about, are you having bowel movements? So having a bowel movement in the morning clears the brain, gets everything going. And if you have enough fiber the day before, that should not be a problem. So breaking your fast with water and not with coffee, because that's dehydrating you. So always break your fast with a nice glass of water and making good choices through the day, healthy choices with your food. So just always, when you're looking at your food, look at it. And I go more in depth with that when I work with clients. What is your day looking like? What is your eating window? Because your body likes to eat 9 to 5 or 10 to 6, and it likes to sleep 9 to 5 or 10 to 6.
Well, what if, Gerri, and I got people in my networking groups, blue collar, like their breakfast is an energy drink and a gas station burrito, and then they're grabbing fourth meal on the way home after the end of a long day. And like the thought of eating healthy is like, they probably know they need to do it. It's just like behavior change or how to implement some of that.
Right. Well, eventually behavior change is going to happen because you, like I said, you are what you eat. So if your body becomes less than healthy, like mine did when I changed my career into the natural health world, your body will make you make the change.
Yeah.
So you will have to eventually make a better choice because your body will not be functioning.
Well, and you like you alluded to, you know from personal experience that that kind of crash and that rock bottom and then building step by step back up. But what are some of the warning signs where it's like, hey, maybe this is getting critical to when you have to do something about it because you maybe get a diagnosis of some kind? Or
Sure. Fatigue, not waking high energy and energized in the morning. That is a big warning sign to really pay attention to. And after you eat lunch, do you need to take a nap? So energy is a big first indicator, and then also just stiff, sore joints. Not feeling prime in your day, not feeling highly energetic. And I will have clients say, "Oh, I'm getting older." No. I mean, when I was at Mount Everest Base Camp, probably on my second or third trip there, it's probably my third trip, I met an 83-year-old guy who was going to summit Everest. And I'm like, wow, you're a rock star. You're amazing. How are you doing this? He goes, well, he was European. He said, I eat good food and I work out every day and I feel great. And so he's not paying the price of, he's living his life full on, clear into his aging years, where breaking down into your, when you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, then what's going to happen when you're in your 70s and 80s? You won't have a quality life. So quality food now creates quality of life later. So, it's just choices people make, and there's always a consequence to pay for the choices. I help individuals to work through the process of what does it look like to leave the house prepared with food. And then you're not making those I am so hungry choices and driving through any fast food restaurant where, your health is not of their best interest.
Yeah.
Their best interest is their bottom line dollar. So they're getting the least expensive food, selling it at the highest price point that they can. And, the collateral damage is on you.
Now I'm a Big Mac or a Whopper, that's turning into my, right?
Yeah. What would you like to be, a Big Mac or a Whopper?
I don't know.
Great.
Right. Yeah. Gerri, take me to like that point where you were in your photography business and you're like, I can't keep going on like this. And that decision to change.
Right.
What was like kind of those first few steps in that direction like, and does it get easier after the first few steps?
Oh, it always gets easier. When you have forced changes upon your lifestyle, that, it gets easier. Because I was a photographer, I started my photo studio. I was a senior in high school, photographed my first wedding. And so I charged forward, 22 years. And at the age of 40, the tremor in this left hand was so severe, I could no longer hold the camera steady. And it wasn't as if the photos were out of focus. No, or were soft focus. No, they were stinking out of focus. And so, you can't run around a wedding with a tripod. And I was photographing 60 weddings a year. My body completely broke down because I was treating my body like a machine, not taking care of, the stiff sore joints. I was working 14-hour days. Okay, whoever says that's a good idea. And then, at the stroke of a pen, when I could no longer function in my photo world, I was unemployed. Okay, go from $250,000 a year and that was in 2002 when I sold the studio. That was a lot of money back then. Go from that to unemployed. It changes your lifestyle. It changes your household income. A decision had to be made. However, the decision I made from age 18 to 40 affected our bottom line at home. And so if I would have paid attention to, how was I feeling? I was getting a massage every Monday. So every Monday I got a massage and went to the chiropractor. However, I wasn't fueling my body with actual food. I was grabbing quick food, doing, when you're at the office at 7 a.m., you're going to grab some kind of bar off of the shelf. I wasn't eating whole food. And so, when I sold the studio, 2 weeks later, I was introduced to a gentleman from Canada who started me on this amino acid formula. And in 22 days, my tremor was gone. I'm like, So started me down the path. When God opens the doors, you walk through them without resistance, you're in the right path. And so I started in 2022 just going down the path of, what is this? I healed my body with food. What is this looking? Oh my goodness, this is exciting. And I would have never been able to go to Mount Everest Base Camp in 2002. By 2008, I did.
Wow.
Recovered my body.
Those obstacles turn into opportunities, and then really paves the way because you have that relatability of what it's like. The other thing you said, Gerri, about what is the cost of not being healthy? If you've got a pitch in a boardroom and you're not sharp, or if your follow-up is not great because you're sleepy after lunch, what is it costing you in your business?
It's hard to calculate what it's costing, because it cost Greg and I a lot. Huge lifestyle change to no longer be able to function in the career that I was going to do until, I could no longer, till the day I died. I was going to be a photographer. And when the body breaks down and physically you cannot do what you think you're meant to do, it's a huge game changer. And I had no idea of the costs that it would be until the price I paid was unemployment.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was big. And so I really enjoy working with individuals, moms, grandparents who, everybody's an athlete. Everybody is moving. If you're on the floor playing with grandkids, you're an athlete. And so you should be be able to get up without having stiff sore joints, and be able to move and relate and be with family and not be sick all the time and have headaches. Oh my goodness, I was riddled with headaches. Photographing a wedding with migraines was just part of it. I just thought that's just the way it was. I have not had a migraine headache since 2003.
Wow.
When I started paying attention to my physical health. Yeah, migraines, headaches are that's a big indicator.
So, Gerri, how do you, let's say I don't feel optimal, whatever that means, right? Maybe I don't feel sick yet, but I'm there's just something there. Maybe, and I chalk it up to, I'm not in my 20s anymore, or hear this kind of thing.
Right.
What kind of tools do you have to really diagnose the root causes to create transformation in there?
So we discover what's going on by testing. Your body does not lie. So doing blood work, and I do stool sample testing for when we're going to do gut restoration programs, because a lot of clients coming in have gut issues, acid reflux, gas and bloating. They just don't feel they can't eat anything. They're limited to 10 foods. Oh my goodness, so many people. I can eat 10 foods. Oh, I'm so sorry. So getting the gut back online. So doing the gut restoration where we're working with stool sample testing and the blood work. I also do what's called clinical metabolomics, which is it's metabolic biochemistry. It's what's going on inside the cell. So I run those tests. DNA testing is really huge. Wow. So when you have all these different puzzle pieces together, and in my office, I have a body balance scanner. So I scan the body and then make a custom energy formula after we scan the body. And then also the hair follicle scan. I have a hair follicle scanner that I just pull hairs from the back of the head, put it on a scanner, goes off to Germany, comes back in about half hour, 40 minutes. We get the results back. And then I can look to see, how are you absorbing, or are you needing vitamins, minerals, fatty acids? Are there parasites, heavy metal issues? I had a client come in, his radiation was off the charts, like huge radiation. Wow. And so we went over the radiation list, and I said, have you, had any x-rays lately? And nothing, and radon. He had their home tested for radon, and the radon was off the pico, was it picocuries? The pico number, I can't remember what it's actually called. It was off the charts. So he was working out down there every single day. He's working out in the lower level of the house where the radon was really high. So he stopped working out in that room, and then they got the whole mitigation system put on their home. They had no idea that the whole family was really toxic in the radiation, in the radon, until we ran that hair follicle scan. And so all those little things affect your health. And just putting all those little puzzle pieces together helps to zero in on what's really happening, looking at all of the moving parts to figure out where things are misfiring. Because if one of those puzzle pieces is missing, if I wouldn't have done the hair follicle scan, I wouldn't have known. And then we would have had limited opportunity to really get him working at his full potential, because he's in his 40s and his kids are still young. They aren't married yet. So he's going to have grandkids, Yeah. And he has a business. He's a business owner. So he's like, oh, okay, well, maybe this is why I'm really tired all the time. So just cleaning out the body now and working with getting those toxins cleaned out of the body. And so everybody is very unique and very different. We can't know the uniqueness and difference without testing. Throwing something at a symptom is crazy madness, and it's very expensive. It's very expensive to do that. When I first started in the natural health world, I wouldn't fully test because I felt people would think it'd be too expensive. Well, the more I test and the more we realize that what's going on, then the easier it is to zero in on what's happening. And it's actually less expensive in the long run, because then we're not aiming and throwing things and hoping that it's going to work.
So how often do you see something like pop off the page, like this is it, versus it being more of an imbalance and maybe my levels are a little higher, a little low, but it's not like one big thing. Right,
not one big thing. And that's actually more the norm.
Okay.
Where it just takes some tweaking. It's not one huge like, oh wow, this is big. When we get the DNA back, that's some of the DNA markers are kind of big deals. So we really pay attention to that. If there's compromise in the memory possibilities, in cognitive function, future cognitive function possibilities, or progressed DNA, because your DNA, it is the loaded gun. The lifestyle pulls the trigger. That's what they always say. Your DNA is a loaded gun. Lifestyle pulls the trigger. So what DNA do you have so that the lifestyle doesn't create disease or illness? And generally, if individuals come in early enough, not in their 70s or 80s, but come in earlier and they're just feeling a little off, we can discover where the, deficiencies are coming in and fix it relatively easily. However, it is a lifestyle change.
Yeah.
If you continue what you're doing, you're going to get more of what you've already got in the health and wellness world. So if you're not sleeping well, it's not going to get better if you don't change things. If you have stiff sore joints, or your gut hurts, you just don't have energy, what you're doing obviously is not working. And so, going in and
how do you
tweaking
handle that? Like, you give people the answers to the test, and they still they still default to behaviors that are not helping them.
Right. It's an interesting process to change lifestyle, because you're a product of your environment. Generally, it's how you grew up at home.
Yeah.
And so it's a very conscious decision to consciously eat and be aware of, when am I getting to bed? How much blue light exposure am I having before bed? I mean, it's conscious. So you're not going to change it overnight. And it all depends on the degree of breakdown of how willing people are to go all out and make the changes. Eventually, when it gets bad enough, they'll be like, okay, I get it. I really do need to make these lifestyle choices, because you're not deficient in pharmaceutical meds,
Well, I imagine it gets really motivating too once you start to see and start to feel better, and you say, "Hey, this is actually working," and I'm feeling that result. I'm curious about like networking, because there's a lot of food. People meet for coffee, people meet for lunch, and or I'll meet for a happy hour, and it's a part of that. So a lot of people watching the show are avid networkers, or doing one-to-ones. But how do you maybe to stay in line with your own health while you're meeting for lunch, meeting for coffee, meeting for happy hour somewhere?
Right, socially fitting, maneuvering the social world.
Yeah,
I get it. So find healthy, safe restaurants to go to, and just make the best choices off the menu when you're doing that. Now, for after hours and for networking, the alcohol is never serving you. And socially, you can be social without drinking alcohol. And if that makes the people feel uncomfortable around you, that's interesting. Who are you networking with,
sure,
right?
Sure.
So, and it's choices, it's personal choices. When you get your body really recovered and you feel great, waking up in the morning, you feel good. If you have like a networking event and there's not optimal food to eat, your body's not going to crash and take you out for a week. You'll be able to recover quickly. If your body is not really healthy and you eat, then it's like, okay, that didn't serve me. I've got 2 days of downtime. So as you get healthier, you can actually bounce back from having less than ideal. But I always tell clients around Christmas time. Christmas is always a big one, know, the big, really rich foods and all these desserts you only eat at the holidays. Hang out around. There's always fruit and veggie trays. And they're always left. Like nobody eats those. Hang out around that area. And then also before you go to networking events, drink enough water so you're not hungry going in. And then just make better choices if you're going to be grazing. Put on the raw fruits and vegetables. Minimize the amount of the gluten type foods that you're putting in, because that makes your brain go comatose come an hour later. And just also eating, like before I go to networking events, I will have like hummus with cucumber or jicama, something like that. I will eat a little something before I go to a networking event, so I'm not hungry, because they're usually around 5 o'clock at night. And people are a little ravenous hungry because lunch is kind of worn off and the day is over.
Right.
And so they will kind of eat a little outside of the box, and then they don't feel great. And then they go home and then they fall asleep in front of the TV. Okay.
This does not have to be your life.
This does not have to be your life. No. Your food is your energy.
Well, Gerri, I'm thinking about somebody who's experiencing something, like asking for help is kind of vulnerable. And how do you as a professional overcome that barrier of like someone saying, hey, Gerri, I need some help in this area, and open up to you?
Right. Well, the intake is very extensive. I mean, the first appointment is 2 hours long.
Oh, wow.
And so we are talking. I listen to what is going on. What is your lifestyle? What can actually... Where have you been in like the food choices that you've had. How did you grow up? What was the stress like growing up? What is the stress like at work? What is your stress level now? And what's the reality of making choices and small choices? It's going to be small changes at a time. It's not all at once. We got to change this overnight. I do have some clients that do that. I mean, they do. I had a gentleman come in. He was probably in his 60s. Maybe he was mid 60s, pushing late 60s. He did everything I asked him to do. And in 3.5 months, he made radical changes. And still, I talked with his daughter on Friday, and that was 4 years ago. He's still living that way because he's vibrant. And when I seen him at a networking gathering, it's probably been 3 months ago now. Oh my goodness. He had a new girlfriend, and he's just like this vibrant guy, and he got a whole new lease on life. But he's paying attention now. So that's, guys usually are like that. Men are like that because they're, especially if they are the main income holder of the home, that ship goes down. Oh boy, the household goes down. And so they get that. So it just, everybody is different though. Everybody has a different, and I walk alongside of people, and I definitely understand the trauma, I guess you would say, that it can be to make lifestyle changes, because this is how you've seen your parents, and this is how it was when you grew up. And so being the new role model for your family, and if you're an individual not feeling great and you also have children, is it still a repeated pattern? And because the kids will become what they know. And so,
Well, I imagine it's probably an exciting time to be in the nutrition field. Like, I know there's always like different things that come through the news about what you need to do, but like currently there's like the peptide therapy. There's like, seems like access to more tools and resources that we might not have had decades ago, or at least they weren't known to the masses the way that they are now. But what have you seen? And I think people are waking up to like GLP-1s, peptides, different things. And how have you used those tools to help your clients?
Peptides are very powerful, very powerful. However, I make sure that clients are going to actually follow protocol, because peptides are not the answer to cover up poor lifestyle. That is never going to work. So like the GLP-1s, they're wonderful. I just use mainly one, the retatrutide, in my office, and really working with what are you eating? How are you working out? How are you sleeping? It all affects. What supplements are you taking? That all affects how the GLP-1 works, because if you plateau, then your body will release weight, and then what you realize is, oh my gosh, it'll put the brakes on, and then there will be no more weight reduction happening, and we never lose weight, because weight always comes back with friends. Anything you lose, your brain will find it. Like you lose your keys, you lose an important piece of paper, you will, like, your brain won't be calm until you find it. If you lose weight, your brain's like, okay, we lost part of us. It comes back with friends. So we reduce weight, we remove it, we eliminate it, and how you speak to your body's like, oh, I get it, okay? Because your brain, that's what's true to your brain, right? So once again, it's the lifestyle. And then the BPC 157, that's been a really huge one for gut restoration, because that does heal the gut. And that's an oral peptide that people are taking to really heal the gut lining. That has been very helpful. And also then there's one called TB 500 that helps to heal without having scar tissue if there's been an injury, or so that has been very powerful. So it's been fun to work with peptides, because your body naturally makes them. And so what the peptide nutrients do is just bring them back around in the body. So it's very powerful.
Well, what I love is, like you said, that intake's 2 2 hours, you're really getting to know the lifestyle. You're doing all the blood work and stuff like that. But like, there's things out there where you don't even need to talk. Well, maybe you talk to, you fill out a form and some doctor comes and you get an online pharmacy and there's no like relationship there. Right. But it's like, you don't have not having to talk to somebody could be the feature, right? Like people are maybe have some shame or embarrassment, or they don't want to talk about that kind of thing. But the like going off on a trail that's not going to lead you to the right place has got to be tough. So have you dealt with people who have maybe tried their DIY solutions?
Every day. Okay. Every day. Yeah. People call me like, I'm trying to figure this out on my own and I'm just so frustrated. I've spent so much money down a rabbit hole and I'm not getting better. Because it really does take time to really know what's going on, running the proper labs. And then if I have a client that I'm just not quite, something's still not quite right, then I just do research. What is missing here? And, I obsess over my clients that really aren't making progress because everybody is here on this earth for a specific mission. And if you're sick, you aren't able to meet that mission. And so I always want to know what's missing, where is the misfire? So then we dig in more. What's their lifestyle at home? Are they, not really following protocol, or is there something we missed in the DNA? And so then or did we run the DNA because we chose not to? And it's like, let's go back and run the DNA and see what's really going on. There's a puzzle piece missing here. So really walking alongside of individuals, because it is very personal and there's never any judgment. I have no judgment on what's going on. Everybody's at a very different part in their life. Everybody grew up so differently. Everybody grows up very different. And everybody has a different bandwidth too of what they can take in and understand and what they're willing to, what they're willing to work with. Because I have another client, he's just not, it's like work around it. Well, we can't work around it. So there's going to be limit. He's still coming into his appointments and he knows there's going to be a limit because he's not willing to give up, that habit. Okay, well, we'll do the best we can with it. But doing the DIY sometimes can be very frustrating. And if you're ordering random stuff off, online, is your body even absorbing and assimilating it? Are you flushing it all down the toilet? That's very expensive. Yeah. And then you're still not feeling optimal. Yeah. Well,
I think there's some people that are like, hey, maybe I should book an appointment with Gerri or find out what I need to do. What's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Texting me is always a good thing, or emailing me.
Cool. Do you want to share your number?
Okay. Yeah. So my phone number is 303-815-3567. My website, let me give you my email address, is Gerri, that's Gerri, at complete, COMPLETENA, Complete NA, because Complete Nutrition Alliance is way too long to spell out. What was I thinking? But Gerri at CompleteNA.com. And then my website is CompleteNA.com, and it's chocked full of information of all the services that I have and all the different stuff that I do. And you can check out the website. Definitely message me through the website if you want to do that. That'll come right to my email. But email or texting is always, and if you text, say, hey, watched you on this podcast, interested in connecting, and then I can call you, because I always call. I do not have an automatic booking system. No. I want to talk with individuals to see if we'll be a good match, because I don't want to work with somebody that's really not a good match for me, because it's a commitment for you, and my schedule is full, and I want to, it's like my schedule fills up in a week, and I want to make sure that, we're on the same page. So talking with people, so it's a free 30-minute consultation. And then I book in clients because I want to make sure you get the full 2 hours. And I want to know before we get into that what we're already dealing with. And so I have lots of notes. I take lots of notes during that 30-minute consultation time so that we're not starting at ground zero when you come in for that first 2-hour appointment.
Awesome. Well, Gerri, we'll put all that in the show notes as well. But thanks for sharing your wisdom and your stand for making the Northern Colorado business community a healthier place so that we can all be our best selves as we're making connections and doing business.
Absolutely. I want everybody to be successful because this is my, second successful business. And I've been in business since I was 18, since 1981. I turned 18 and started my first business a week later. So I just know that sick, weak people cannot create what they're meant to do here on this earth. Because I was there.
Well said. Well said. Well, thanks very much for all sharing what you shared, and we'll see you in Northern Colorado.
Thank you, Andrew. I appreciate it.
Hey, all, thanks for watching. I love networking and building relationships with other Northern Colorado business leaders. So if you want to come meet some of these podcast guests, meet me, or meet some other amazing entrepreneurs in Northern Colorado, I would love to have you attend one of our next events. Go in the podcast description. There's a ways that you can see our upcoming schedule, and maybe you could be a future podcast guest as well. Thanks.